What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So there's been a lot of stuff happening on TBC Classic Anniversary over the last 24 hours, and I want to talk to you guys about it because I'm in this weird boat, right, where I'm playing Fury Warrior. We now know, for anyone who doesn't know, I guess I should preface this by saying there's been a massive bug on TBC Anniversary since day one of launch that most people just realized was a thing, and a lot of people did know about it already, and it definitely swayed some choices as to what classes they were going to play, but we knew inevitably this was going to be fixed. And right, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's the armor bug, right? So let me jump over to my my main screen here so that I could show you guys what I'm basically talking about, right? So first, this is my warrior, right? We're almost fully pre-bist up. I've been playing warrior the entire time, but we're going to share the screen, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something that's going on. So here we are over on Reddit, right? Now, the armor bug was basically that mobs in TBC had little to no armor since day one of launch. Now, we have this post here from this sub-rogue that is leveling. And in this post, he goes over before the hotfix, before they fixed the armor values, he was hitting like a high end of 781, and then the low end would be like 398 with an average DPS of 596. Now, after the hotfix, yesterday Blizzard took the servers offline for a little bit, and they applied the fix to apply the quote-unquote correct armor values for the mobs in TBC. And then as you can see down here, it is drastically different, right? High end being 372, low end being like 244, average DPS of 301. Pretty much a 50% damage reduction. And people are just outraged about this, right? Now we look at other posts here. I have another one pulled up that says, time to revert the armor fix for world mobs and dungeons. It's just bad. And then that people posting pictures of the LFG finder with just nothing but like rogues and warriors and stuff like that in there. Here's the thing, guys. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm a Fury Warrior main, always have been. I came into TBC not even knowing about the armor bug. And after the fix, I don't really see that big of an issue. I was doing astronomical amounts of DPS, ungodly amounts of DPS. I was doing 3,000 to 4,000 DPS on cleave pulls while leveling up with level 60 weapons. I had CTS and Kel Sarar for the majority of my leveling. I just replaced them at 70 with Dragon Maw and Latros. Okay, it wasn't fair. It just made no sense. I get that everyone was having a good time with this bug, but essentially it was just like an exploit that people couldn't avoid. Like, what were you supposed to do, not play the game? I didn't even know it was a thing until I started seeing it the other day. And I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, because I was in dungeons and I was feeling like, this is kind of weird. Like, I literally can't even hit my buttons without ripping threat. You know, bear tank, mega threat, pally tank, tons of threat. I'm sitting there and I'm auto-attacking for 10 seconds. I hit whirlwind once or cleave once, and I ripped threat on all the mobs and died. Like, it was almost unplayable because I was doing too much DPS, as crazy as that sounds. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are, you know, pretty mad about this, and I get it. I completely get it. We got used to something that was, for a lot of people, you know, a ton of fun. But it's definitely not good for the health of the game long term, and let me explain to you why. And first of all, just know that within 7 days of just playing like this, like I did 15 Shadow Labs rep runs last night, you know, after the hotfix. By the end of it, it felt fine. Like, I didn't even realize. If you are a melee and you are struggling, it is now important more than ever to be in like a melee cleave group, because when you're in a proper melee cleave with like an enhancement shaman and maybe a BM hunter buffing you as well, a rogue exposing armor on bosses, or a warrior sundering on bosses, it really doesn't feel that bad at all. It feels bad if you don't have Wind Fury, you don't have an enhancement shaman there buffing you. I agree, it feels bad, but that was to be expected in TBC. I didn't play Fury Warrior to pop off like this in Phase 1 in pre-Bist gear. Once I'm Bist, I know Fury Warrior's pump, but I didn't expect to be doing 3k DPS on cleave pulls in, you know, pretty much level 60 gear at level 70. It was ridiculous. So I made this warrior with full intentions of knowing that my pop-off period would start probably next phase, and I was fine with that. And you got to remember that for everyone saying to revert this this nerf, it's not a nerf. It was a bug, and it's a fix. Now, I am gonna say Do we really know that it was fixed properly? Are we going to get a post in a week or two saying, hey, we overcompensated, we gave mobs 15% more armor than they're supposed to? That's very possible as well. But to be completely honest, right now, you know, it feels bad going from what it was before that, but it's not a nerf. This is how it was supposed to be the entire time. You know, and posting pictures of the LFG finder being nothing but rogues. That's how TBC always is, right? That was to be expected. If you played Rogue, if you watched any videos over the last year before we knew about the armor bug, everyone was saying, you know, being a Rogue in TBC is a hard time. It's not easy, especially early on. They do decent damage, but they're not stackable. They're not big in cleave groups. It's just something that a Rogue player always struggles with in the Burning Crusade, right? So this wasn't a nerf, you know, as someone who's playing a purely physical DPS class. This wasn't a nerf, it was a fix to bring everything down to the normal level. Now imagine you are someone who played Mage, Warlock, Ellie Shaman, or any of these other classes, because you were like, you know what, I feel like being like a top DPS this time. You know, you retired your warrior from level 60 vanilla anniversary, you rolled Mage, Warlock, whatever, you wanted to chase the meta a little bit, you wanted to be on top of the meters. Then you get to this, and you see warriors in level 60 gear doing 5 times your DPS as a Warlock, a Mage, Ellie Shaman, whatever. That's a little discouraging, and it wasn't supposed to be that way, right? We all knew that the beginning of TBC is always mages, warlocks, and hunters popping off. Hunters are struggling right now as well. Hunters don't really pop off until they get their 4-piece Beast Lord. Okay, then it starts to get really crazy. And this is just how it's supposed to be. Now, is it a little bit overcompensated? Do the mobs have a little bit more armor than they should? Possibly. I don't really know. Maybe we'll see that. For me right now, in a melee cleave group, I got like 6 more Shadow Labs rep farms to run. I'm feeling fine as long as I'm in a melee cleave. I still pump, I still pop off. I'm still doing like 1500 DPS at this point on cleave pulls. Nobody's beating me. Unless it's like 12 plus mobs, then a mage or a lock will beat me. But other than that, it feels, I think, you know, it obviously doesn't feel as fun because I'm not doing 3000 DPS, but it was kind of like playing with like cheats activated, right? It made no sense. This makes more sense. It feels more fair. I'm not ripping thread on every single whirlwind that I cast. I think people are just upset, and I get it. You are having a lot of fun. You know, it is what it is. It was a bug that was in the game. Should Blizzard have fixed it earlier? Yes. Did they? No. It's okay. It happens. They got a lot going on. There's a lot on their plate. You know, just try and sit back and enjoy the experience for what it is. If you rolled a rogue or a warrior in phase 1 of TBC, you knew what you were in for, right? Just because we got a little taste of that, you know, it really felt like I was in like full Black Temple Biss. That's how much damage I was doing. But just know that you get to that point eventually, just not right now. And just make your groups accordingly. If you want to feel really strong, play in those melee cleave groups. It does, you know, it really does help out. So I kind of wanted to make this video to give my take on it. This is a very hot topic in the community right now. And, you know, I know a lot of you are going to be like, do you think Blizzard overcompensated? I'll be honest with you, I don't really know. I don't know the numbers. I don't know what they're supposed to be. Maybe it went a little bit too far and we're going to get them to roll it back like 10 or 15%. I have no idea. All I know is that I wasn't supposed to be doing 3,000 to 4,000 DPS with high Warlord gear, level 60 weapons. That's insane. Those are crazy numbers. If you look back at TBC logs, those numbers don't exist in phase 1, right? They barely exist in the next phase. So it was wrong. It was a bug, and I know it's upsetting, but trust me, in a few days, you won't even realize it's a thing. But drop some comments down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling about this. I really am curious. You know, I do feel like I have to talk about these things because I get a lot of people asking me in my stream and comments, and people want my thoughts and opinions on it. So those are my thoughts and opinions on it. I think that for the overall health of the game, it was good. If it was dialed in a little bit too harsh, I do think they should roll it back a little bit. You know, this is an anniversary version of the game. It's meant to just be played and have fun. It's on a super fast cadence. I'm really hoping that we get more loot drops and raids because if we're getting a super fast, you know, release schedule for these phases, we're going to need that. But that's a topic for another whole video. Drop some comments down below. Let me know how you guys are dealing with this. I'm enjoying my TBC experience so far. I'm having an absolute blast. I want to know if you guys are as well. But also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance. We stream Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're having a great time. We're almost done with our pre-bis grind, and then we're going to start doing some alt stuff. So anyways, guys, subscribe to the channel if you love Classic WoW just as much as me. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.